When it comes to life, a very wise person once said, the only time you ever fail is when you give up. Something that's very interesting to think about. And right now we're joined by parenting expert Nikki Bush, who's here to tell us and give us advice on exactly how parents and children can use failure as a way of growing in the future.
Earlier, we spoke about how failure can be used to benefit a child's growth in the future. And we're continuing our conversation with our regular creative parenting expert, Nikki Bush. Very, very interesting things we spoke about a little bit earlier on. But I want to know about the connection between failure and success. What is the connection? Is there even a connection?
Absolutely. So many famous people and successful people have attributed their success to what they failed at.
Wow.
Because that's how they learned how to do things well, do things right, do things better. So it's about looking at our mistakes, looking at our failures and saying, what can we learn from that? How do we need to change things? How do we need to do it differently to get a different result? So we actually need solutions-orientated children who can come in and help us to mop up the mess we've made on this planet. And they're not going to do that unless they can make mistakes as well. We've made mistakes.
Yeah.
And they need to be allowed to make mistakes too and to learn from those mistakes.
I get what you're saying in that regard. But there are parents out there that will not tolerate mistakes. What happens in that scenario? How do we teach parents to tolerate that more so that their children can embrace it and grow from it?
Well, let's take a simple example. A child on a sports field, say on a tennis court. You're sending your child to coaching. They learn a new serve or a new forehand, and I promise you, for the first couple of weeks after they've learned a new stroke, they will play like a palooka. Yeah. And you've got to be okay with that. Otherwise, they won't grow and progress, and they won't use what they're learning because they've got to practice a lot to get that stroke right, and they're going to make mistakes in the process. You've got to be there as a cheerleader on the sidelines, accepting that they're not going to play well until they master the stroke. It's exactly the same when they're learning new stuff in school. They might not do so well in the first couple of tests, and then suddenly the light bulb comes on. So we've got to be encouraging. Yes, if we reach a crossroads and they really don't know what they're doing, extra lessons, all the help you can give them. But until that stage, be positive.
Yeah, wow. You know what? I remember as a child, if I failed at something once, I oftentimes wouldn't try it again because I was just too afraid to fail at it again. How do you get a child to overcome that fear of failure? Because many adults still struggle with that today. So surely it's something we need to learn at a young age.
We do. Look, if something's really not your bag, you can try something else.
Exactly.
You know, if you're just going down a dead end, you know, don't keep banging your head against that brick wall.
Yes.
But we need to make sure that our attitude towards our children's attempts to try don't lead them to fear failure. We actually want them to embrace failure and the positives that it can bring. Otherwise, they land up sitting in no man's land not trying, because if they don't try something new, they can't fail. Or they land up treading water and staying in the middle ground and not pushing for a new personal best. Because a new personal best comes with a bit of fear, anxiety, trial and error. You know, so be as supportive as you can of their attempts to grow and change.
Yeah. Oh, Nikki, I love this conversation with you. I'm so happy that we can talk to you about this. It's like our parenting expert on speed dial. Thank you so much for being here with us.
That's a pleasure.
And of course, if you want to find out more about how failure can benefit your child's success in the future, why don't you go to nikkibush.com.